Hello, fellow neighbors and residents of the city of Urbana. I'm James Winston, and I'm a resident of the city of Urbana, but even more important, I'm a neighbor in the city of Urbana. And out of neighborly love and concern for my fellow neighbors, that's why I'm here. And I'm here joined by two fellow neighbors and their positions that they hold, and I'll let them introduce themselves to you.
My name is Officer Dan Bailey. Been here in Urbana for about 10 years. In addition to patrol duties, I also host the Cops Corner segment.
And I'm Julia Reitz. I'm the state's attorney here in Champaign County, and I very much appreciate James asking me to be involved in this project. I am a neighbor also, and I want to help educate our neighbors and make sure that that we all can get along and work together and move forward in our community in the best way. And definitely am very happy to be helping you with your goal of educating our young people as well.
Okay. Now the reason I'm here, well actually I got various reasons. The first reason is Marcy. The second reason is Robert. The third reason is Antrell. The fourth reason is Alicia. The fifth reason is Katriva. And I got reason if I get into my grandkids. But I'm here because I've been hearing on the media that there's a lot of fear in the streets of Champaign, Urbana. And I want to do something about that fear, because I know that most fear comes from not knowing what to do. I'm a Christian, and the Bible says that people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge and fear and don't know to do a situation. So we're here to give you some information, some how-tos and what you should do and to take away the fear in a situation. So, and first and foremost, I'm here as a neighbor. And that's what it's all about, being a good neighbor. The police who are stopping people, before they were police officers, and before that, they are a neighbor, and we're neighbors, and we have to realize that we're neighbors, but we carry different hats. I got my job, you got your job, everybody, but we neighbors, and that's why I want to keep upfront about this thing, and we need to have neighborly interactions, because this is a thing, police stops are not going away, and they're a good thing. There's security in our neighborhoods. So I don't want my grandkids and my kids out there involved in an incident take a random stop sign incident and out of fear turn into somebody getting hurt or crippled or killed even, when all they needed, here's what you do. So that's why we're here, so you can know what is the proper way to respond to a police stop. Okay. So I'm going to get started with the questions, with some questions I've drawn up, and try to just give us more light on what we have to do and what we should do and what's the neighborly thing to do when a police stop occurs. So my first question is, what is the reason, why can a police stop a person? I mean, can a police be riding his car and he see a green car that he don't like? I don't like green cars, so I want to stop that person. I mean, why, what's the reason, first of all, to initiate the stop?
In order to stop a vehicle, we have to have a reason to stop it, whether it be probable cause, we observe a vehicle violation, or some articulable reason for why we're stopping the vehicle based on some kind of an investigation. But there has to be a reason.
Okay.
So they can't just stop all the green cars that they see because they don't like the color green, or they can't stop every 10th car, or they can't just stop a car because they see the driver and decide that they don't like that person for whatever reason. But there can be a lot of reasons that the driver might not be aware of that are absolutely acceptable and appropriate legal reasons for stopping a car. So the driver might not be aware that the tail light of the car is out. Or if you're driving somebody else's vehicle, you might not know that there's a problem with the license or the vehicle license, and so there might be a absolutely legitimate legal basis for stopping a car beyond speeding or running a red light or that sort of thing that the driver might not be aware of.
License plates expired, that kind of thing.
Okay, but again, what I guess I'm trying to stress is that they just can't stop your car if they want to stop your car. So
right,
and so that's one thing I want. That a lot of times I hear people, especially younger people, say, well, the police was just messing with me. They just stopped me for no reason. No, there should be, and usually is a reason. Now, we know that bad stops happen, but on the whole and on the average, I think that, stops are good stops. And we need to know that why that they're stopping us, that it's for a good reason, and it's for our good.
Right.
It's for our safety. They protecting and serving us, and I like to be protected and served. So.
And the police understand too that if they do not have a articulable basis for stopping the car, if they can't write it down in a police report and testify to it in court, that anything that came from that stop can be thrown out. So if there was something illegal in the car, we can lose that evidence. We won't be able to put it into a case in court if they did not have the legal basis to stop the car in the first place.
Okay. All right, the next question I was getting, okay, the police cars behind you, the lights going around. Now, when you react, if you pull over to the side, first of all, do you have to pull over immediately? I mean, say if you're in an area that you don't feel secure in, especially like, say, a single lady's in the car and she don't feel secure in an area, and she wants to go a little bit farther down the street, maybe to the corner gas station where there's lots of lights and she can pull in there. I mean, how far can you take that, or do you have to pull over right now?
Well, you should pull over as soon as it is safe to do so. And we talked about this a little bit beforehand. If you are a single woman in the car and it's dark out and you're in an area that you're not comfortable in, you certainly should protect your own safety, but do it in a way that lets the officer know that you're aware of the stop and that you're making reasonable efforts to do that. So what kinds of things do you think would be appropriate for someone to do if they can't stop right away?
Well, first off, if you're unsure the vehicle behind you is not a police officer, you can always call 911 and inform them that you are being stopped at location, and have them make sure that it is indeed a police officer that is stopping you. Or if you're going to pull forward a little ways further, don't speed away, don't accelerate, maybe hit your brake pedal, maybe wave your arm, something like that. After a while, if it continues, the officer will probably turn on his siren. At that point in time, it would be best for you to find somewhere to let it go and stop.
Okay. And I know the thing that was pouring my mind about this, like unmarked cars or plainclothes police officers, you know, if you look in your rear and you see a Urbana police car or Champagne, you know what they look like, then probably you should pull over sooner than later then, I would think. Okay, now the car's pulled over and the car stopped. Should the person get out of the car and come to the police officer?
Ideally, for the normal traffic stop, once you stay in the vehicle, we'll pull you over. There might be a slight delay, but we're going to go ahead and approach your vehicle. However, there are some times, based on rare circumstances, that we might ask you to exit the vehicle, whether it be by voice or by the PA system. But for normal traffic stops, unless you're directed to do so by the officer, just go ahead and stay in your vehicle, keep your hands in view, and roll your window down.
Okay, all right. Okay, now, the car stopped, the officer's there at the door. Can you ask the officer, why are you stopping me?
Absolutely. I mean, it is a conversation, okay? Ideally, the officer will approach you during a normal traffic stop, identify him or herself, and then explain to you the reason for the stop. That's not the time to argue back and forth. If the driver feels that they were stopped and that they did not do the violation the officer brought up, there's courts in place that they can go present their evidence at the courthouse itself. But if the officer fails to inform you of the stop reason, you can always ask what it was for, sure.
Okay. There are many people who ask to see if they get stopped for speeding and the officer says, I've clocked you going over the speed limit. Many people want to see the radar detector, the radar gun, and the officer does not have to show the radar gun to the person, and most of them, I would say, generally do not do that as a practice. It might be affixed in the car, or it's just not a safe procedure to be walking back and forth and back and forth. And so people shouldn't be surprised if the officer says, no, I'm not going to show you the radar gun. And again, those issues, if you believe that you were stopped improperly or that you weren't violating the law, you absolutely have a right to contest whatever ticket you get in a court of law. You can plead not guilty, you can appear in front of a judge, present your witnesses. If you had a friend in the car or other people nearby, have them come to court and testify. People have a right to be heard in a court of law if they believe that, that they weren't violating the law.
Now, at this point, can say a person, if they feel like there's misconduct, can a person like ask an officer, well, what's your badge number or what's your name or something like that? I mean, I saw it on TV. I don't know if it's real or not.
Yes, you can always ask for an officer's name and badge number, absolutely.
Okay.
And most of us will have actual business cards that we can give you. If you want to go forward with a complaint, you can always go to the police department itself and talk to a supervisor, or you can also print off a complaint form online as well.
Okay. Okay, so we covered the stop. He's got the car, got the license.
What's most important is that the street is not the place to try to argue that issue. The worst thing that a person can do is turn what could be a simple petty traffic ticket, a fine-only type of offense, into a misdemeanor resisting or even a felony resisting if there's physical contact that ends up in an officer being hurt. And it can be as minimal as a scrape or a bruise. It doesn't have to be a significant injury to an officer to turn that situation into a felony arrest. Or as you had said earlier, someone getting seriously hurt or even killed.
Right.
That's what we all want to avoid, is that, turning that relatively minor offense into a life-changing situation.
Okay.
Also, here in Urbana, if you feel the stop is unjust, you can also file a complaint with our Citizen Review Board as well. So there are many avenues for you to take.
Okay. And I think the main thing there is what I was trying to get at is like what Mr. Reitz said, that on the street, in the stop, that's not the place for that. You do the things that you can to keep the level of fear down, because I believe that, yeah, there's fear in the person stopped and there's fear in the police officer too. So if everybody can just be neighborly, and keep the stress down for then, and we can get this matter disposed of, and then later on, if you want to go and file a complaint, you can do that. But the main thing we're trying to do is, again, we're trying to not make a mountain out of a molehill here,
Right.
and somebody gets hurt or even killed over something that was really nothing to start with. And so hopefully this information would do that.
Right, and I think, your point about we're all neighbors. The officer on the street is a neighbor. He's got a family. She's got people that she wants to go home to.
Exactly.
And you never know when you're approaching a vehicle who is in the car and what they're going to do. And we certainly have had many situations over the years where horrible things have happened during the course of a traffic stop to an officer. And so people need to understand that the whole point of officer safety, a lot of the things that they do that might come off as being maybe gruff or unfriendly are really more training methods to make sure that they're safe during the course of a traffic stop, as well as to ensure the safety of the public and the citizen.
Our goal is just to address that driving behavior that we witnessed, and then hopefully have it not happen again and move on.
Okay. Well, that's what we're all after, safety in our streets. And again, I mentioned all my kids and grandkids, and I certainly want to get that call at night where they've been hurt or they've hurt somebody, and it was just a little stop, and then I go and they, out of their fear, out of not knowing what to do, turn something into something major, something minor. So again, we've given, hopefully we shed some light on the circumstances of a stop, and it'll give you, lower level of fear on this. Now we're going to actually do a police stop. I'm going to go out in traffic, and a police officer will actually stop me, and so now we're going to let you see how it's done. What the? Why is this policeman stopping me? What's going on here? See what he wants.
Sir, do me a favor, have a seat back in the car.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Morning, sir. My name's Reitz. I'm a lieutenant with Urbana Police Department.
Okay.
The reason I stopped you, you didn't come to a complete stop back there at the stop sign.
Oh, are you sure, officer?
Yeah, unfortunately, you didn't come to a complete stop. Can I see your
okay.
driver's license and proof of insurance, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
My driver's license and my wallet here.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate you telling me where you're reaching.
Okay. Okay. And you
All
want
right.
my insurance too?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now that's in my glove compartment.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate you letting me know where you're reaching.
There you are.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right, sir. Here's your insurance card back.
Okay.
You know, like I said, you didn't come to a complete stop, but it wasn't horrible. It's not as though you didn't even pause. You just slowed down, and unfortunately,
Okay.
you have to stop all the way. Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be issuing a warning. I just need you to come to a complete stop in the future. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. So do me a favor. Wait here. I'll go back. I'll do what I need to do, and I'll come back with that warning ticket in just a moment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hang tight.
Okay. Well, maybe I didn't. Maybe. I'm glad you giving me a warning.
All right, sir, here's your driver's license back.
Okay.
Here's a copy of the warning ticket I was telling you about. You don't need to do anything with that. It doesn't cost
Okay.
you any money. It doesn't go against your driver's license.
Okay.
I just need you to come to a complete stop in the future, okay?
Okay.
All right, sir, take care. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
In the previous traffic stop video, we witnessed appropriate actions with the police during a traffic stop. Some things to do: pull over when you see emergency lights. Be sure to do so in a safe manner. If you are unable to pull over immediately, give the officer a sign that you see them, such as turning on your hazard lights. Put your vehicle in park when you stop. Stay in the vehicle unless you are directed to exit the vehicle by the officer. Keep your hands in sight. The best place to put them is on the steering wheel. If it is dark out, turn on your dome light so that the officer can see you and what you are doing more easily. Tell the officer if you are going to reach for items in the car, where the item is, and what the item is. Provide your driver's license and your insurance card upon request. Now we'll take a look at our next video, where some inappropriate actions with police during a traffic stop are exhibited.
What the? Why is this policeman stopping me? What? Well, what do this guy want?
Sir, do me a favor. Step back into your car.
No, I just come to see what.
I understand that, sir. Do me a favor. Step back in your car for me,
I'm kind of
please.
in a hurry, officer.
I understand that. Do me a favor. Step back into your car, please.
Okay, all right. Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Gee, my knee. Trying to get out of here.
Morning, sir. My name's Reitz. I'm a lieutenant with Urbana Police Department.
Okay.
The reason I stopped you, you didn't come to a complete stop back there
Oh,
at the stop sign.
no, officer. No, there's no way.
Okay, sir.
Officer, you know how many times I stop at that stop sign? I mean, I come this way all the time. I live out this area. No, there's no way. I stop at that stop sign 10 times a day.
Okay, sir.
There's no way.
I understand that. I was right behind you. I saw you. It's not a big deal. I just need to see your driver's license, proof of insurance, please.
Well, officer, it is kind of a big deal because I don't want anything on my record. I mean, I got a
I
spotless
understand.
driving record. I've been driving for 40
understand
years
that, sir.
now. You made a mistake.
Okay,
I mean,
sir. I understand that. I do need to see your driver's license, proof of insurance, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
What did I do? There's my driver's license.
Thanks,
proof of
sir.
Insurance. Let's see, what did
I'm sorry, sir. You're just making me a little bit nervous just reaching around like that.
You said you wanted the insurance card, right?
That's fine. Most people keep it in the glove box. I'm just trying to understand what you're reaching for.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm reaching for the insurance card.
Okay, thank you for letting me know.
Wow.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, sir. Here's your insurance card back.
But also, I'm telling you something. You're making a mistake. I'm really proud of my traffic record over all these years, and there's no way.
Okay, sir. I can appreciate that. Do me a
Now,
favor.
is there some other problem or something?
No, sir, there's not.
I mean,
You just didn't stop completely at the stop sign. It's not that big of a deal. Like I said, I'm going to write you a warning ticket. I do need you to stay in the car and just hang tight, and I'll be right back with you, okay?
A warning ticket?
Yes, sir.
So it won't be on my record?
No, sir.
Okay, well, I guess I don't.
Okay, sir. Hang tight here,
all right,
please.
yeah, okay, all right. Gee, that's crazy. That is crazy. There is no way I didn't stop here at that stop sign.
I stop there all the time. A rolling stop. Oh well, what can you?
All right, sir. Here's your driver's license back.
Okay, all right.
And here's a copy of the warning ticket I was telling you about. It doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't go against your driving record. Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
No, it just I don't think I did it, officer, and I just I don't know if
I understand this, sir. I was right behind you. I saw it with my own eyes. You didn't come to a complete stop. It's not that big of a deal. I wrote you a warning ticket, okay? Any other questions for me?
No, no question for you.
All right, sir. Take care. Have a good day.
Yeah, all right.
In the previous traffic stop video, we saw some inappropriate actions while dealing with the police. Some things not to do. When you see emergency lights, do not accelerate or unnecessarily delay stopping. Do not get out of your car unless you are directed to do so. Do not argue about the reason for the stop. This causes you to be delayed longer. Do not start moving around in the car or reaching immediately once you stop. Officers will not know what you are reaching for. Do not argue about providing identification. Drivers are required by law to provide it. Passengers, given the circumstances, might also be obligated by law to provide it. If you are unsure if you are required to provide identification, ask the officer if you are required. If the officer does not provide you with a reason why you were stopped, you can certainly ask why. Do not argue with the officer if you are receiving a ticket. If you feel that the ticket is not justified, you can take the ticket to court. We hope this video has demonstrated the proper way to handle a traffic stop. If you feel as though you were treated inappropriately during the course of the stop, you can consult an Urbana Police Department supervisor, file a citizen complaint, or consult with the City Human Relations Officer. For further information on how to deal with a police officer in this and other situations, please go to the Champaign County NAACP website and review the document entitled The 411 on the 5-0. That document can be found by going to the URL listed below.
Hi neighbors, this is James Winston again coming to you. This is a segment of this show that we've done that I just kind of want to speak to you, neighbor to neighbor, so to speak. Also, I like to call this part of it the separation of church and state, or even the separation of the law of man and the law of God. As I mentioned earlier, in the book of Hosea, God says that his people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And the lack of knowledge that I believe God is talking about is the knowledge of love and how to love your neighbor. God puts a lot of emphasis on loving your neighbor. In the Bible, in the book of Luke, chapter 10, verses 29 through 37, God gives us a glimpse at the importance of loving our neighbor and him, and he does it in the form of a parable. Jesus has been asked a question by a lawyer that who is my neighbor, and that's a question that we all have to answer. And so I'll just give you a little rundown of what's going on here. I'll read the scriptures, and Jesus answered the question, who is my neighbor? And a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his clothing and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him, and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence, and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever you spend more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Which now of these 3, thinketh you, was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? And he said, he that showed mercy on him. Then Jesus said unto him, go and do thou likewise. In the Bible, over and over, God tells us about the importance of loving our neighbor. In one scripture, he says, so as you do unto the least of these, that's how you treat him. So again, I think part of the problem that we're having in the world today, and in particular right now, the issue of interaction with police officers, I think we tend to look at each other first in the jobs or whatever we do in our society first, and I think that we have to look at it in the order that it happened in our lives. You know, before a policeman was a policeman, he was a kid, he was a neighbor. Before any of you, whatever profession you do or whatever you do, when you was born, when you was an infant, fresh born, you came out of your mother's womb, and instantly you were a neighbor. And I think that we can start to look at each other first as neighbors, and then as whatever profession or job that we do as a part of trying to keep our society as a whole. So I want to get that question out again. Who is my neighbor? And who is your neighbor? Is it the police officer? Is it the lady walking down? There was a lady in Southeast Urbana. I do business in Southeast Urbana, and we've had a lot of crime problems out there, and it's neighbor upon neighbor. Is the lady walking down in Southeast Urbana last week and 8 o'clock at night and gets a knife put to her throat and robbed her for money? Is it the panhandler? Is it the person that the panhandler is asking for money? Is it the little old lady who was locked in her closet a few months ago for 2 days? Or is it the person who locked her in the closet? Is it the young man walking down the street with the waist of his pants down to his knees and his underwear is showing? Is it the black man who don't like white folks? Is it the white man who don't like black folks? Is it the homosexual person? Is it the heterosexual person? Is it the child molester? Is it the child that's been molested? Is it the rapist? Is it the person who's been raped? Is it the burglar? Is it the person who did the burglary? Or the person who was burglarized? People who agree with my or your particular point of view about anything, or people that disagree with it. See, I've learned from the Bible that I used to have a belief that my neighbor was the person next door to me, or the people on my street. But the Bible has widened my understanding of neighbor, and I know that all of these people I just mentioned, and every human being on the face of this earth, whether they're here or overseas or wherever, that they are my neighbors. And the quality of my life is tied into how I treat my neighbors. The only way that that's going to be a benefit to them and to God, I believe, is to love. Love is the answer. Love is the answer to every problem that we have. How do I love that policeman who I believe has stopped me, and I believe he's in the middle of misconduct on me? As my policeman, how do I love that person that I've just stopped, and they're in misconduct and they're acting crazy, and how do I love that person? How do I show them love? When we were doing the filming of this, I remember Miss Reitz, the state's attorney, and she made a comment that her husband, he's a retired policeman officer, and he said his goal on every traffic stop, his goal was always, he went into this with this in mind. At the end of this, no matter how it's settled, whether a person gets a ticket or a warning or whatever, how it's settled, my goal is to have that person tell me, thank you, thank you. And I think that's a very healthy way to approaching these situations. So now, I don't want to come at you as some Bible scholar, because I am certainly not that. I can't come to you and say I'm a saved man, because I don't know if I'm saved or not. But one thing I have learned, and because I've lived on the wrong side of the law, and today I live on the right side of the law to the best of my ability on a daily basis, I intently go out to do that. But what I have learned is that the thing is like God said, people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and it's a nice way of saying ignorance. I don't know about something, and that generates fear in me. And I remember doing some of these council meetings when I heard people get up and they talk about the fear, the level of fear in them. It's because I think they don't know what to do, you know, what rights they have, you know, how should they conduct themselves by the book in these interactions. And so that's why we did this. This is the whole purpose of this, is just to try and shed some light and give people some wisdom on how to properly behave in these situations, and hopefully that will quell some of the fear, and it will stop some of the negative reactions that we've had about this. Now I know the problems isn't going to go away. There are always going to be police stops, and most people get through a police stop with you know, in a good way. But there is a problem there, and I felt the responsibility. I'm 62 years old, and I've lived in this community all my life, and I've seen this police interaction storm come up time and time and time again over my 62 years. And it seems like we always handle it the same way. There was a big outcry right after, and pretty soon the storm goes by, and we go back to business as usual. And it's like we didn't get any wisdom from the last storm. We don't put storm preparation procedures in place for the next time. So, and I've been a part of that problem. You see, I have sat back and I've been critical of whatever information I got from the media, and I didn't know the whole story, or if I did know the whole story, but I've sat back and done nothing. There's an old saying I read recently. He said, the only way that evil triumphs or grows is that good men say nothing. And so here I am to say that, to be a part of this educational experience and help some people understand better, and again, hopefully bring down the level of fear and stop some of the negative results that we've had from the police stops. And I'm not coming to you as a member of any group, any church. I don't belong to a church, but I do belong to the Bible. You know, every person on the face of this earth right now and always, you have some kind of code that you live by. And sometimes, and I think most of the time, that code is my own code. You know, I adapt what I want to do. But now I live by a different code. And I live by the code of the Bible. And again, I'm not saying I'm saved. I'm not saying I'm a church member. I'm saying I'm a person who lives by this book, by this counsel. Now, you've got your counsel, and whatever that counsel is, that's your counsel. But I am here to promote the Bible as a way to live your life on a daily basis, because you've got to have something to base your life on a daily basis. And you must have something that orders and controls what you think, say, and do on a daily basis. You know, I look around and I see the people, you know, they group up, they get into group, what do we call it, with cliques. And, you know, the young people, they hang with the young people. And there's young people who dress a certain way, they hang with those young people. Certain people who dress another way, they hang with those young people. And see, when we, a lot of times I think that they consider, well, these are my neighbors. These are my neighbors. But the truth of the matter is that everybody on this planet is your neighbor. And if we can work to try and treat the people out of my clique the way I treat the people in my clique, show them the same love, then I think that our community, your street, your household will be a better place. Now, I know that this is, you know, what I'm talking about, that most people don't even want to hear it, but all of this is done in an attempt to reach somebody. You know, I know it's not a numbers game, but it may reach somebody. It may reach some person and cause them to start thinking about how they're treating their neighbor, and even more importantly, how they're treating themselves. You know, the greatest thing that the Bible has taught me how to love, and continues to teach me how to love, in every situation there is, no matter what it is. And the first step is to love myself as I love my neighbor. And so I think, you know, well, how do I love myself? How do I show myself love? How do people around me know that I love myself? Well, the greatest way is the way I dress. Do I have good hygiene? Do I take care of myself where I look good? And that is a surface love. But the love that God is talking about, it goes deeper than that. It's a heartfelt love. And the greatest way, according to the Bible, and I believe it's true, it certainly has been true in my life, God tells us what true love of self and how it's developed and how it's shown. Proverbs 19:8, where God says, "He that gets wisdom loves his own soul. He that keepeth understanding shall find good." And that's true. I mean, even in the world, when a young person is coming up, their parents are always emphasizing to them, get education, you know, go to college, get wisdom. And in this world, we know that if you don't have wisdom about a particular skill, or that you're not going to be able to get a job and make money. So we understand that wisdom is all powerful, but this is about spiritual wisdom. This is about spiritual wisdom, and this is the wisdom that you use to give you understanding and guidance, structure about how to use the earthly wisdom you get. If I become a carpenter, then this wisdom, I may be a very skilled carpenter. I know how to measure. I know how to do it all. I'm a head carpenter. But if I don't have the right mindset, if I don't have the right heart set about my skill and how I apply it, then I have nothing. I have nothing. So this is the love that God is talking about, getting wisdom from yourself. So to get wisdom about police stops, and that's the particular subject here. And that's what we've hoped that we've given somebody. We've given you some wisdom about that. And hopefully that wisdom will generate, hopefully, a desire to get even more wisdom about the workings of love and of neighborism. There is great strength in becoming a good neighbor. Becoming a good neighbor. I gave some examples up here. You know, we read the papers every day. I mean, and you can read about all over this nation. You can go to your television set right now and turn it on, and somewhere you're going to see citizens and police, you know, at each other's throats. And really what it boils down to the spiritual principle of authority, that there is not very much respect for authority in the world today. We want to do our own thing. And so the problems that we're having are coming from a lack of understanding of authority, I believe. A lot of them, you know. But, you know, the bottom line is this. Love is always the answer. When a policeman stops you, you look back there, you see, there's my neighbor who happened to be a policeman who's stopping me, and the policeman said, there's my neighbor who just happened to run the red light and I got to go up and interact with. But love of your neighbor is the key, I think, to resolving this police and citizen interaction. And you know, and my personal testimony is this: that you know, the Bible, at a late date in my life, that the Bible is what has changed my life, and it changed my thinking. It gave me the truth. It gave me the truth, and nothing but the truth. And truly, it has caused great freedom in my life. In the book of Proverbs, one more chapter here, chapter 2, verse 10. And God says, when wisdom enters into your heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto your soul, discretion will preserve you, understanding shall keep you, to deliver you from the way of evil. Wisdom, wisdom. So we have a decision to make. With whatever you have to offer in life, do you want to love or do you want to hate? There's an old R&B song when I was coming up. It's called The Thin Line Between Love and Hate, and that thin line is wisdom. It's up to you today. Not always have I thought the way I think today, but today I choose to love in all my ways to all people, and I love the life I live today. I love the effect I have on my mother, my father, my wife, my children, my grandchildren, my neighbor, my enemy. The only thing that matters to me today is love. So I challenge you, make a choice today. Choose to be hot or cold, but don't be lukewarm. Don't be wishy-washy with your life. Get a set of rules to walk in and talk in and have the courage to stand for what you choose. I greatly encourage you to choose the Word made flesh, the Holy Bible. Not a church, but the Bible, the book of books. Thanks for your time, and I just hope, and I think I can stop the separation now. I think that the state's attorney and the Urbana Police Department, and I think that we all share in this hope and this our desire that that what we've done here that will give somebody some more wisdom and bring down their level of fear, because the police are a very valuable element in our society, and so are you as a citizen, and we have got to work the better best we can. But so again, just hope that there's not as much fear out there today about police and citizen interaction. Be a blessing today to yourself, to your neighbor, and to your neighborhood. Thank you very much.